Hey everyone, this is Ross, and I was away at the weekend at the motorbike racing, and on my way back I saw this amazing fish store, and it was just crazy. There was a section for shrimp, there was a section for algae removal, section for CO2, lights, they had corals, they had invertebrates, they had saltwater fish, freshwater fish, freshwater plants. It was just amazing, the best fish store I'd ever seen in my life. So I couldn't really leave without buying anything. So I've actually spent up my money that I was going to buy the saltwater tank with. I've got a bit of money left, so I won't be setting up my saltwater tank for a few weeks to a few months yet. I'll tell you when I'm going to set it up though. But yeah, so I bought a few things. I bought this CO2 diffuser, which it's like a ladder system, and I hear they're quite good. The way that they work is when the CO2 comes through this pipe, it's released at the bottom here, and it works its way up the ladder very slowly, and it'll probably take a few minutes for one bubble to get from the bottom to the top of here. And because it goes so slowly, it maximises the amount of time it has in contact with water. So it's kind of maximising the amount of CO2 that gets dissolved in the water. And as the bubble moves from the bottom of here to the top, the bubble reduces in size because more of it's getting dissolved in the water. And the idea is once it gets to the top, it'll be released through these vents and they'll float off in the water column. Now some of the CO2 won't dissolve fully, so it'll bubble up in this top area here, and it'll kind of sit there, and that'll get dissolved in the water too. And there's also waste gases that comes off. I don't want to go into what waste gases come off it, but the waste gases are usually lighter than CO2, so they'll float right to the top of that, and they won't actually be in contact with the water at all, because some of those gases are actually poisonous to fish. So it's got a good waste gas collection system, and it's very nice. Got suction cups there. So this was £20, so that's like $30. So it's very expensive for what it is. I mean, if you compare my hand with it, it's not even that big. So yeah, very expensive for what you get. But I can't find them where I live, and on eBay I don't want to take the risk because it might be thin, flimsy plastic and it might not work properly. At least I know this is going to work. So yeah, I've got a CO2 diffuser, a ladder system, and I got this pipe, this tubing, and it's actually CO2 resistant tubing. It's apparently more efficient than regular airline tubing for some reason, and apparently CO2 commonly leaks from here with regular airline tubing. So with this you don't get as much CO2 leakage. So yeah, that costs £10, so that's about $15–16. So the whole thing cost about £30, which is pretty darn expensive for what I've got. But I was prepared to pay that. Unfortunately, I did spend some of the saltwater money on it. But yeah, so I got that. And I also got a breeder net, like a hatchery box type thing. And when my Cory catfish had fry, they didn't survive, and that was because there wasn't enough water flow in my little acrylic box I had, and fungus basically grew on the uneaten food, and the fungus killed them, I think. So it was kind of breeding ground for different bad things. So in here it's got good water flow, so water can pass through there, pass back out, so it's very open, and I'll probably never have to clean it. The only times I'll have to clean it is if algae builds up on there too bad. But I mean, I can keep little shrimp in here, so it's good to have. And these little metal attachments you bend over the back of the aquarium. It wasn't too bad. It was £5, so that's about $7 or $8, something like that. It's nice though. So I got that too. And I've also got this mag float. So this is a fairly large mag float. Cost about £10, so that's about $16–17. And the magnet is just super strong. It's hard to move, which is great. I mean, my other small algae cleaner, I used to have to scrape it like that vigorously to kind of get rid of the algae, and in the end I just used a dish scraper to remove the algae. But with this, just one swipe of it removes a load of algae, so it's great to have. And another great thing about this mag float is if I knock it off, it doesn't sink to the bottom and crush one of my cory cats. It floats to the top, so I can just pick it up and put it back on the glass. It's great to have a mag float. So yeah, that's going to make cleaning a lot more efficient. And yeah, that's all I got really. So today I'm just going to be setting up my CO2 system, and I'll show you along the way. Right, so the CO2 system's in there now, and it's actually pretty unnoticeable. It's just in the right hand corner there. There it is. And you can see it just by the Ludwig here. And yeah, if you stand back you can't really notice it too much, so it looks alright. And the tube comes out here, goes down there, into the bubble counter, and then there's the reactor. So it hasn't started producing CO2 yet. It will in a few hours, and in a few hours time, when it starts producing CO2, I'll get my first few bubbles in the bottom, and it says in the instructions those bubbles should group together and they won't move up the ladder until a few days time. And the reason why it doesn't work till a few days time is because a slime develops on it, like a bacterial slime, and it makes it easier for the bubbles to kind of move across the plastic. So yeah, in 3 or 4 days it should be working, and I might do an update for you. So yeah, there's my CO2 system, my new mag float, and the tank's looking pretty nice at the minute. The cory catfish were showing signs of breeding the other day, but they didn't actually breed. So I'm going to feed them on potatoes, bloodworms, flakes, all this week. And next weekend I'm going to do a water change with cooler water, and hopefully I should get them to breed. And I'll put the babies in the net breeding box thing. So yeah, let's hope it's more successful this time, raising the baby catfish. And this CO2 should make the Ludwig here go a bit redder. I mean, as you can see, it's already a bit red, but my Ludwig has never really been too red. So a few weeks I'm planning on getting better lights. But I'm out of money at the minute because I've just bought a lot of stuff. And the saltwater tank, I'm out of money, so that might be in a few months, I don't know. But I'll keep you updated, and you should see considerable difference in the plant growth. A quick note, it's always worth having an air stone on when you've got a CO2 system in place, because you don't want to gas your fish. I haven't got it on at the minute because the CO2 isn't working at the minute, but when it starts working I've got an air stone in there. So yeah, just make sure you've got an air stone, just to be on the safe side. Alright, so if you like this vid, please give it a comment, like it, and subscribe. Bye.